Natalie Kinway, Global Head of ESG Insight at ESG Clarity. Welcome to the Green Dream video series, where we interview senior members of the responsible investment industry. Today, I am delighted to be joined by Corne Biemans, Portfolio Manager of the Boston Common Global Impact Equity Fund. Thanks so much for taking the time to speaking to me all the way from Boston, Corne.
Thank you, Natalie. It's a pleasure to be here.
So the fund has recently become available in the UK. Can you give us an overview of how you select global companies that are delivering a positive impact on the environment and society, as well as deliver a positive return?
Yeah, thank you, Natalie. So we launched our global impact strategy in 2018, and we remain very excited about the future performance potential of this fund. It's very much aimed, as you highlighted, at making investments that deliver a positive and competitive financial return and constitute a benefit to society at the same time. It's really a high conviction, concentrated global equity portfolio tailored towards a diverse set of impact investment teams with a very high active shares. It has a dual objective to provide this competitive return as well as making impact, and we engage alongside our holdings. We really use our experienced equity and ESG impact team to find those impact companies. Over time, we have developed a proprietary database of impact names globally that we continue to monitor and select for investment opportunities. We believe the investment philosophy of this fund helps it to identify by really, addressing those issues by the companies and find those companies that have competitive advantages. We also believe that actually these opportunities are not too well understood yet and are not fully reflected in the current valuation of today. So by implementing our research efforts, we have been able to identify these companies, and what we seek out is really to find the companies that provide the most attractive return that tailored to each and every impact investment team. Boston Common is one of the few remaining independent employee-owned investment boutiques on the East Coast of the United States. We have a strong reputation with regard to engaging companies, and we want to ignite impact through engaging the companies that we invest in as well, in order to make these companies better. Not only from a financial perspective, but also from a societal and environmental perspective. So we have a list of names that can be deployed at any time. They have been thoroughly researched by our ESG impact team, as well as been vetted by our investment equity team as well.
Great, thanks for that. And so do you invest in companies that are not yet making a positive impact, but are on that journey to transitioning to that point?
Yeah, so just to be clear, 80% consists of companies that we believe are full solution companies. We define those companies as companies that have the majority of their revenues tailored towards one of our identified impact investment teams. At the same time, we also want to identify the future product solution leaders. Often these tend to be larger cap companies with a high dollar amount of impact revenues, or their business model is shifting towards that. We call those companies impact momentum companies. They are already highly sustainable, and they do have very substantial impact revenues. They just do not yet meet our hurdle of 50%. Our philosophy here is that we believe if you want to ignite impact through your portfolio, the dollar amount of revenues is actually also very important. It wouldn't be too difficult for us to make a portfolio of smaller names, impact names that have very promising solutions. But we also believe that the dollar amount of the revenues of the companies are very important, because that's what ultimately generates impact in society. So if we identify larger cap companies where we see that they are becoming, or they are working towards becoming, a full solution company, we take a select approach there and we aim to invest in such companies.
Great, that's fantastic. You talked a bit about engagement before. Can you share some of your engagement success stories?
Sure. Last year we did, for example, one related to refrigerant. We invest in companies that provide energy efficient air conditioning products or clean air solutions. But often these companies have equipment where the refrigerant can be detrimental to the environment. So we are engaging two of our holdings, Carrier and Daikin in Japan, on really trying to lower their refrigerant with regard to pollution, because if they leak into the environment, it's actually very bad. So we think that's an easy one to solve. Otherwise, we've also started initiatives, what we call the high carbon emitter. We have identified and measured which of our holdings are the largest emitters. And we have addressed the top 10 largest of those companies, and we have actively engaged them on a variety of topics to ignite new initiatives to address some of the issues that we have. Again, these companies are already highly sustainable, but we have identified areas where we believe they can do better. For example, one of our holdings in Norway, Bodyart, they plan to, and we initiated that they provide more scenario analysis and that they elaborate their reporting standards. So that is one example.
Well, it's great to hear fund managers carrying out this work. So what's your outlook for the impact investment landscape? ESG Clarity covers the Asia, US and Europe. What do you think the future holds for investors looking to invest for impact?
Yeah, I think it's a great investment opportunity, especially at current somewhat lower prices. And it's no surprise that Europe, especially the northern part of Europe and the UK, are clearly leading. They were the first ones to embrace and widely adopt ESG investing, and also the first ones to start actively exploring the impact investment landscape. I would say Asia is next and is catching up quite reasonably. The Harrington Cooper Boston Common Fund, we have started to present to investors in Asia and Japan, and they are kind of cautious, but we see there is incremental and increasing interest to invest in an impact strategy. With regard to the US, there is clearly interest and it is growing. We are seeing a growing interest of the strategy here in the US. And we've been one of the first ones in the US actually to be dedicated, and that's the only thing we do, right, in investing in impact and ESG. And especially from what I heard from consultants is that the younger generations, they want to align their inheritance or the money that they have to invest with their values. So we think that's a new wave of interest that will come our way.
Definitely, we are seeing that momentum in Asia and the US, so it's definitely moving in that direction.
Yes, it's quite strong, and we're and that's also why we developed this product 3 years ago, to really provide a solution for people seeking such a strategy. And we also believe that the revenues of the companies that we invest in will actually grow much faster than is currently embedded in their share prices. There are plenty of regulatory developments, but also consumer preference that will make revenue growth of the companies that we invest in more attractive over time.
Absolutely. Well, we always end the Green Dream with this question. What is your favourite sustainable drink or snack?
Oh, that's a funny one. Well, we do organize events at our company, and we gift chocolates from Lake Champlain Chocolates. It's a family-owned business based in Burlington in Vermont. That's up north from Boston. And it's also a B corporation. B corporations are really leaders in the global movement of people as a force for good, and they meet very high environmental and social standards. So that is one snack that we like to do when you're in the office, when they come in. Personally, I also enjoy a cold beer at the end of the day. And I discovered a beer with that had a bike on its label, and it was called Fat Tire Amber Ale. It appeared that that is brewed by a company in Colorado. It's called the New Belgian beer, and it's actually one of the first carbon neutral brewed beers in the US. So combining good taste with an environmentally friendly footprint.
Fantastic. That sounds really good. Definitely chocolates in the office is up my street. Well, thank you so much for your time, Corne. It's been great talking to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Natalie. It was a pleasure talking to you.